Expedition Everest, Legend of the Forbidden Mountain, is one of the best roller coasters at the Walt Disney World Resort. And today, I'm going to rank and review it based on 4 different categories. Those being theming, the trains, the ride experience, and the wait times. The theming. Expedition Everest is themed around the highest mountain on Earth, or Mount Everest. This mountain is located in the Himalayan mountain range, located in Asia. The area around the ride is named Serkazong, which is supposed to look like a village from the base of Mount Everest. The sort of main theme of the ride goes as follows. The people of Serkazong believe that there's a sort of supernatural being called the Yeti that acts as a guardian of the mountains. Despite warnings from these people, a company by the name of Himalayan Escapes offers tourists the ability to take a ride through the Himalayas. They take over an abandoned tea plantation and repurpose the tea trains as trains for the expeditions. However, things start to take a turn when the tea company decides to take a shortcut that goes through the mountain. This turns out to be a bad idea when guests come face to face with the Yeti. While this is a detailed backstory, it is not even the extent of the theming. I mean, there is literally an entire man-made mountain and a whole museum that houses some of the queue for this one ride. As for a ranking, if this theming doesn't deserve a 10 out of 10, then I don't know what does. The trains. The trains on Expedition Everest are well themed, but look a little bit bulky. And that's not really a bad thing. In fact, I actually really like how Everest trains look. They look different, and I like that. As for how comfortable they are, it's kind of a mixed bag. The lap bars don't come down very far, which allows ample room for airtime. The seats themselves, however, are a little bit uncomfortable. Overall, I think this category earns a solid 6 out of 10. Not exactly good, but not bad either. The ride experience. Everest's ride experience really starts before you hop on the train with all that great theming I talked about earlier. But I'm going to focus on the experience that happens while you are seated in your seat and ready to go. Everest starts with 2 slow turns to the right, and then it heads into the first of 2 lift hills. This lift provides a great view of the massive mountain as you climb up. Expedition Everest then has a ton of slow dips and turns to the left that really have no force whatsoever. Expedition Everest then heads up the second lift. While you climb, you head inside a shrine that appears to be dedicated to the Yeti. Once you reach the top, you head down a small dip and then head up a spike. You then stop for a few seconds and head backwards through an intense helix. This helix is pretty forceful and disorienting because you are going backwards. Expedition Everest then stops turning and stops for a few seconds. While you are stopped, you see a visual of the Yeti ripping up some track. After a few seconds, you slowly go forward and head down an 80-foot drop. Because of the minimalistic restraints, you actually get some good floater airtime in the back row. Expedition Everest then has a low bank turn to the left with some very good positive Gs. You then re-enter the mountain and drop into a large helix with some good sustained positive Gs. As you re-enter the mountain, you turn to the right and see the Yeti. If you see the Yeti actually moving, you are very lucky. This animatronic almost never works and is just illuminated by a flashing light. Expedition Everest then heads into 2 brake runs, and this ends your 3,884-foot-long journey on Expedition Everest, Legend of the Forbidden Mountain. Overall, I think this ride experience is fun, but really short. I give it a solid 7 out of 10. The wait times. Animal Kingdom as a whole usually doesn't get that bad of wait times. The only bad wait at Animal Kingdom is Pandora, which can get 1 to 2 hour waits. I personally waited about 45 minutes for Expedition Everest, which is not bad at all, especially for a Disney park. I give it a solid 6 out of 10, only because a majority of the queue is unshaded and Florida can get hot. Final thoughts. If we add up all the categories, 10 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, and 6 out of 10, we get a final score of 29 out of 40, or 72.5%. This score is not bad for a coaster whose main audience is not thrill seekers like myself. Expedition Everest is my second favorite ride at the resort, behind Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, and my 10th favorite overall. What do you think of Expedition Everest? Tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Bye!